everybody, welcome to another episode of Still Good. I actually recorded most of this episode outside, again, like I did my episode of Tales of Woe that came out. But it was cold and it started to rain and my camera went dead, so there was just a bunch of stuff that happened, and I just had to start over again. So, Still Good, episode 3. This week we're talking about Reboot. Bit of a difference, because the first two episodes, Mona the Vampire and then What's with Andy, those are shows from my youth that I'd watched a lot and I loved and I wanted to revisit them. This, however, is a show that I never really watched. It's from the 90s, came out in 94. It was on. I'd always see it on YTV, but I never really watched it. Every now and then, I would put it on because there was nothing else to watch. But yeah, it was usually before or after something I wanted to watch, but I never really watched it. So the things I remember from it are like, I thought, or at least what I thought I knew about it after seeing it, I know it's not really true. But I thought it was, it's one of two shows, this and Beast Wars, Transformers Beast Wars, were early 3D animation, which just looks terrible. It's not a good style of animation. They really can't do a lot with it. Like throughout this episode, the landscapes and everything you see is just very bland. There's not a whole lot there in frames of stuff. It's just kind of I don't know, just shitty like N64 style graphics, and it doesn't look good, doesn't age well. At the time it even looked shitty. Let's be honest. But so what I remembered from it, or what I thought I remembered from it, is just like it was in the future, maybe in space. Like I said, shitty 3D graphics, but I didn't really know much else. I never really watched it. But so what I find out, if you haven't seen the show at all, the main character that is named Bob, which I think is just a terrible name for a main character. Like, it's just boring, and I don't know, it just sounds weird. Anybody calling him Bob, like the main villain, or I should at least talk about the characters. So the main character is Bob. He has friends. Kid, for some reason, he's friends with the child. The kid's name is Enzo, and he's friends with a girl, and she's named Dot. And Dot owns a diner, a 50s style diner, which I don't know why she owns a 50s style diner. And I also don't really understand, even after watching this episode, where it's set. Like, I can't tell if it's set in the computer or in the internet or what, but it's kind of vague. But the whole thing about the show is they use a lot of vague computer terms. Like, you can tell it's super 90s because there's just so much. They're using computer terms in ways that don't really make sense, and in ways like people who didn't know shit about computers were calling things in the 90s. They're just they're saying a lot of buzzwords like update, download, upload, like all that kind of shit. And so it's just kind of cringy. And then the villain is named Megabyte. He has a British accent, which I don't know why villains always have to have British accents. It works, but it's just so strange. It's like, there's just all these people with American accents, or Canadian accents, I guess, in this case. And then some motherfucker with a British accent, and he's a bad guy. It's very, very strange, but it is funny when the villain... sorry, my cat's just walking around. It is funny when the villain is talking to Bob, because it almost sounds like he is being sarcastic when he's talking to him. He's like, Bob. Like almost like the character knows that it's a stupid name for a main character to have.
You know, Bob, all you have to do is Mrs. Input one small favor, and I might be able to keep this from happening again.
Because it just sounds weird. You want like a stronger name for a main character. We don't even get a last name. It's just Bob. So yeah, I just found that very strange. And the voice acting and the writing. Sorry, I'm also, my phone has my notes on it. If you're wondering why I'm looking at my phone. But yeah, the voice acting isn't natural at all. It sounds very stunted and like, I don't know, like very obvious. It sounds like the person who did it, at least at the start, it doesn't sound like they did it before. Like, it doesn't sound like the characters are actually interacting with one another. It's just not great. And then the writing isn't good either. Not that the writing on these kid shows often is good, but it's like, it just doesn't make sense. Like this whole show, I mean, I'll get into it, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. They kind of, it definitely seems like a show for kids because it's like there's stuff going on, but it's very vaguely explained. It doesn't really make sense. Yeah, like they just say there's so much, like I said, there's so much of that dumb random fucking computer terminology from the 90s.
We tried to quit Phylum, dude, but it was seriously default. A major surge of goons showed up at the diner and started to completely offline the place. I mean, jack out, crash, crunch, backslash, delete, trash, log off.
It's like, okay, we fucking get it. Computers. Like the whole first episode, that's what I watched is only the first episode. But the whole first episode is just like, okay, we get it. It's fucking computers. Or it's the internet. I'm not sure. It's not really described. So also in the game, I guess the reason it's called Reboot, and I'm still not really clear on this, but the only time they say reboot in the show or so far is when, so there's these things that happen and I don't understand what the fuck is really happening, but these things, it's like a game. A game happens and it's like they're hanging out in their world and then this fucking big like rectangle beam from the sky, this big purple beam from the sky shoots down. And then I guess you just go to it and then you enter it and can play the game. What the game is, I'm not really sure. At one part, we see them in the game, and I don't know if this is what the game is always or what, if it's just different kinds of games. I don't know. It's very vague, but when they're in the game, they all say the word reboot, and then they get put in like these outfits with helmets and shit.
Reboot!
Reboot!
So, is the game called Reboot? Is that just what they say? Like Power of Grayskull type thing from He-Man? I don't know. Like I said, it's very, very fucking vague, this show. But the show opens with our main character, Bob. He's on a hoverboard and he is running away from these two robots. There's a red robot and a blue robot. And they're both talking super fast, kind of talking over each other. They sound like, two cokeheads in the bathroom of a club that are just fucking talking about business and making deals. And that's what they sound like. They're kind of just talking like this and talking over each other and blah, 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 blah. And they're not really saying much. And it's just a lot of bullshit. So they sound kind of fucked.
I said there he is.
No.
Look out!
That's me.
Look out!
Stay away.
Okay.
So those are Megabyte's lackeys, I guess, and they're just two cokehead fucking robots. And so yeah, he gets away from them or he does something, and then Megabyte is annoyed and kind of sets up a trap, I guess, kind of for Bob, because a game happens. Like I said, the purple beam that shot from the sky happens, and so Bob is like, oh fuck, I gotta go get into that game. It's very important that I get in that game. So he goes, and Megabyte knows he's gonna go to the game, so Megabyte gets these ships, I guess, or hover cars or whatever. He gets a bunch of them and blocks Bob, and then Bob flies with his hoverboard into one of the ships and then falls, like he like flies and slams into it, and then he falls about 100 feet, and Dot is in her hover car and saves him and catches him, and then he's fine. So he fell like 100 feet, just landed in the back of a car, and is completely fine. So I don't know what the rules are for this world. Like I said, I don't know if this is in the future. I don't know if this is in the internet. I don't know if this is in a computer. I don't know where the fuck this show takes place. So I'm kind of confused about that. But so he got kind of tricked by Megabyte. He falls. But the game, because Bob couldn't enter the game was lost. What that means, I don't know. Why it matters, I don't know. It's not, they don't go into it at all. But so something is going to happen. I can't remember exactly what. Oh, yeah, Megabyte, I guess, wants Bob to do a favor for him. But Bob doesn't. Bob kind of wants to, but nobody else wants him to because they seem to know him that Megabyte is a bad guy. And so Bob goes to get some sage advice from another robot, and the other robot just kind of says that Megabyte is bad, just like everybody else says. And then Bob completely doesn't listen to him, but the robot Bob goes to see, he actually says a line, and I'll cut it in here, but he says, "Keep your friends close and keep your enemies even closer," or he adds a word in there where it's not keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, right? That's the saying. But he adds like a word in it, like keep your enemies even closer, or
There is an old README file that says you should keep your friends close and your enemies even closer.
something, but he fucks up the saying, and so it's just kind of strange. And then so Bob doesn't listen. He goes to meet Megabyte alone. And so up to this point, it's kind of vague. Everybody else seems to know Megabyte is a bad guy. And even Bob seems to know, but he kind of wants to maybe help Megabyte or see what's going on. Yeah, so he goes to kind of meet Megabyte, and he realizes it's a trap. And Megabyte just wants there are these things called tears that, once again, I'm not sure exactly what they are. And I realize this is all the first episode, so maybe it's explained further in the show, but you would think they would at least set up stuff, make sense in the first episode. But there are these things called tears that's kind of like a big orb, and it's kind of like a big energy orb. I don't really know what it is, but in these big energy orbs, people that are guardians, which is what our main character Bob is, they have a smartwatch on their wrist that can do a bunch of shit. They can just say glitch and then just does things that they think, I guess. There's not really a rhyme or reason for it. But Megabyte wants Bob to, because he's a guardian, he wants Bob apparently in these tears or whatever. You can open a portal. I don't know where the portal goes to, but Megabyte wants Bob to open a portal in the tear. And I'm just saying so many bullshit words. But then Bob says something to the effect of like, but you're a virus. Then if I let you in through a portal, then you'll just go and infect stuff. And it's like, okay, wait, you knew he was a virus this whole time, but you were gonna work with him? And then by virus, what does that mean in this world? Is it a race of people? Because Megabyte is kind of like he's more robotic looking than our other main characters. So it's like, is he a race? Are they all different programs, and he's a virus? Like I said, it doesn't really explain it. But if you knew he was a virus the whole time, why would you even help him? I don't know. It's very confusing. But so then Bob realizes it's a trap. Fucking mega dick shoots him with something that kind of grabs onto him, and then he somehow escapes from it using his smartwatch thing. And then he just tips over a computer, and the whole place starts blowing up. His friend Dot comes to save him, and then she kind of gets kind of stuck there. But this whole part kind of doesn't make sense. It's like, so Bob gets tricked by Megabyte, but he escapes. He pushes over a computer, and that explodes everything, and then he can just disappear, and everything is fine. Or no, they go into an elevator shaft. Him and Dot, and then Megabyte is he's still attached to Bob, I guess, because like I said before, he shot Bob with some kind of grapple thing to kind of hold on to him. So he's still attached to Bob when Bob gets on the elevator with Dot, and they're going up, and so he's hanging on, and then Dot cuts the cord or whatever, and so Megabyte falls down. But then I guess because he is a robot, he like climbs up the wall, or I think that's what they're trying to show, because all it shows is he's literally just doing that, like kind of close to a wall, but not. So I don't know if he's supposed to be floating or if he's supposed to be climbing a wall, but he's really doing neither. It's just very strange. But they get out of there. They escape, and everything seems to be fine. And another game happens a little bit after. I think maybe they go back to the diner or whatever. But at some point, another game happens. That purple beam comes down, and so all the people, all of Bob's friends and Megabyte's people go into the game, and they mention that Bob is trying to infect or whatever the user, they refer to it as. So I don't know if humans are the user. That's why it's like very confusing. It's like, are they in a computer or are they in the internet? But there's evidently some kind of user. They just refer to it as the user.
There, with the user. What's he doing?
Viral takeover. He's infecting the user. This is not good.
And Megabyte is like infecting it to get a ship, and he's gonna go try to. There's a tear in this game, I guess. I don't know if it's on all the games there's a tear, but there's a tear. So there's that big orb of energy, and Megabyte is going to try to get to it to go into a portal, I guess, even though before he said that Bob needed to open the portal. But anyway, it's more or less a Star Wars type, X-Wing type race to well, not race, not the X-Wing, not that the X-Wings raced, but it's kind of, they're kind of in formation like X-Wings and shit from Star Wars, but it's a race to this tear. So they're going after Megabyte, and at this point Bob is in the cockpit, and the way he's talking, it sounds like they're kind of doing he sounds like Luke. I actually had to look it up, like Luke from Star Wars. I actually had to look it up because I was like, is this Mark Hamill?
Keep it tight, people. Target in range.
Like, what the fuck? But it's not. It's some fucking Canadian guy, I think. But so that was weird. It just had a very, very like Red Squadron kind of feel to it. And also they must be, yeah, I mean, I guess they're in a computer program. I don't know. But when they get hit, I mean, I think it's maybe because they just literally don't have the animation effects to be able to illustrate it. But when they get hit, when their ship gets like shot, the ship just disappears and they just fall. So it's very strange. It's like Megabyte's ship gets hit, and then Dot's ship gets hit, and Bob's ship gets hit, and they all just fall, and they're all just fine. I think Bob uses his fucking watch that can do whatever, catches himself on the roof, and then fucking grapples because it can grapple. He grapples somewhere, and he ends up he ends up being fine. But I just find it funny that is like, okay, are the ships disappearing when they get shot because it's just that's how it is in the game, or just literally because they couldn't animate uh, a ship getting fucking destroyed? But yeah, so like I said, Bob uses his fucking glitch tool. He fixes the tear that's in. He fixes the tear that's in where Megabyte is trying to get to, and then they can just disappear. So he just cloaks himself, and Megabyte thinks that they just transported back to the diner. So he goes to the diner. I guess we don't see him go to the diner, but we hear from the kid Enzo that he went to the diner, and then once he realized that they were both gone, then he just left. Which is strange because Megabyte seems very evil and it seems like he wanted to kill both Dot and Bob before that, and Enzo was just chilling there. And so you would think that they would fucking kidnap Enzo or something because he's a bad guy, or Megabyte is a bad guy. So you would think they would like kidnap the kid for, I would have thought they would kidnap Enzo for ransom, but they don't. They just can't go away and then that's it. It's all the show is like, it's all vagary and none of it really makes sense. And then the thing that stops the villain is kind of just nothing. He kind of just uses his watch and it fixes everything and they disappear and it's fine. Like I said, none of this really makes sense. It's all very weird and very confusing. Like I'm fucking very confused. After watching the episode, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on in the show at all. Just a lot of vague terms that sound somewhat computery, but not really. And then at the end, there's Dot's Diner. They're back at Dot's Diner. And there's a French waiter. I guess waiter, he kind of cleans up or whatever. But he has like a French accent, which is strange. And then he says that cleaning up isn't in his programming. And he kind of pushes the viewer out of the door of the diner, and then the diner roof collapses. And I don't know what the fuck that's about. I watched it a few times and I'm like, I'll show the clip here.
Oh, I don't get paid enough for this. Cleanup is not my function.
But I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's like this whole show is just a mind fuck that seems like somebody wrote it that was just fucked up on something because it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, if the question is still good, I would say not good. But it was the first episode. I might do a part 2 to this and revisit another episode that's like later in the series. Because I think when I looked it up, they had 4 seasons, it looked like, and it started in 94. So yeah, I might check that out just to see kind of where the show goes. It's not going to be next week, though. It'll be later on in the show, or later on in this show. It's still good. But next week, we're going to do Transformers Beast Wars, because this just made me think, oh, 3D, shitty 3D animation. I should do Transformers Beast Wars. And that is a show I loved as a kid. But I will say arguably worse 3D animation. It was 2 years later. Beast Wars came out in 96, but the animation is still fucking so bad. I don't know which is better. I'll have to compare them. But I mean, they're both terribly animated. But I did really love Beast Wars. Never liked Transformers, like the regular Transformers. I don't give a fuck about cars. Robots turning into cars, who fucking cares? But a robot turning into a gorilla? Robot turning into a cheetah? A robot turning into a fucking dinosaur, bro? That shit's hard as a motherfucker. So that's shit I liked as a kid. But I don't know that it holds up necessarily. I actually have a season of it. But there's a show called Beast Wars, and there was Beast Machines, which follows the same characters, but it's like a different show or like a different season. I don't really know how those two what the like I don't know what happened, why there's Beast Machines and Beast Wars with the same characters. It's kind of confusing. I don't know why it's just not one show. But yeah, I'll figure that out. I have like a Beast Machines DVD, but I don't have Beast Wars, but I'm pretty sure that's on YouTube so we can find it. But and I had the VHS of the first episode, or it was like there was maybe 2 episodes or something on the VHS I had as a kid, but I watched the fuck out of that. So I'm excited to see that, and yeah, I mean, just not good animation, that's for sure. I don't want Beast Wars to be worse than Reboot. I don't think it can be, but the animation might be. But yeah, all in all, I'll say Reboot isn't very good. I will give it another try with a later episode, but it just doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, I was just so confused watching it. Like, it's just vague. None of it really connects. It's kind of just like, oh, there's a game that's happening. Let's go to the game. Oh, we lost the game. Like, what does any of this information mean? None of it means anything. There's no stakes. I don't understand what the fuck is going on. But but yeah, so there we go. Finally, another episode is still good. If you didn't watch my Tales of Woe episode that came out, yeah, I've just been going through some shit, and I didn't feel like doing anything, even getting out of bed for a long time. But I'm starting to get back in the swing of things. I walked twice yesterday. I've been doing shit. I've been recording this. I have another YouTube channel that's has nothing to do with me. I just upload uh, I upload older podcasts of podcasts that I like that just are older that you can't really find anymore unless they're kind of just spread out in weird places in the internet. So I like to take them and then re-upload them on that channel. It's not monetized or anything. I don't use my name. It has nothing to do with me, although I will say my past YouTube channel, Ugly Kid, I did post some episodes of that on there, but I won't do that anymore. I might link stuff, and at the end of my videos, I might eventually say like, oh, this is my other YouTube channel. Come here to watch. But yeah, that's my much more successful YouTube channel, but it's much more successful because I have nothing to do with the successful content on it. It's all re-uploads of other good content that just is hard to find. So yeah, that one is called Podcast Clip Show. If you want to check it out, just go on YouTube, look up Podcast Clip Show. Actually, like I said, I have a lot of views. I have almost 700 followers or subscribers, I should say. I have almost 400,000 views on the channel, which is good. But yeah, like I said, it's not something I can really be like super proud of because it's not my content. I will say though, I am kind of happy that I think I mentioned it in my Tales of Woe thing, but I am uploading stuff that is hard to find for other people. So I've gotten a lot of appreciation from people these past couple days for uploading this stuff because it's just harder for them to find, or maybe they don't use Stitcher or they don't use whatever stuff. So yeah, that's been making me feel nice. Is like people really appreciate the stuff I've been uploading to that channel. So yeah, I'll be doing that as well as this, and I'm just trying to keep in a. I'm really trying to keep in a what's it called? Not a rhythm, but yeah, I'm trying to do the same. I fucking have a loss for words sometimes, but I'm trying to do the same things every day, and I'm trying to treat this like an actual job where I work through the day. I have certain things I need to do at certain times. I edit stuff in the morning. I record it in the afternoon, and then I upload stuff at night. Or at least for my other channel, I upload a bunch of stuff at night and record for that at night and upload it. So yeah, I kind of have a nice regiment, and I'm just trying to keep to that. Only thing that's different about today is I might not be able to go for my second walk because it's raining. But I did go for one walk already today, so I am happy with that. But yeah, so there's my Still Good episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, next week is Transformers Beast Wars. So I hope you stay tuned with me for that. And thanks for watching, everybody. Sorry I've been gone for so long, but hopefully these start coming out again. Like I said, I can be bad with this stuff, especially when and just whatever. I don't want to fucking whine about depression and shit, but that stuff can hit and it can just be really hard to do stuff. But I'm feeling good. I'm doing stuff, so hopefully more of this will come. And yeah, just keep a lookout. And thanks for watching, everybody. Apologize if the audio quality isn't as good in this. Like I was trying to do it outside, and I'm just trying to do different stuff, and I just can't use that other microphone when I'm not sitting in that desk because the mic goes through the stand, and yeah, I don't have another mic cord. But anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you next time on Still Good.